Hello Bakugan fans, this is Christian from the San Diego Bakugan Brawlers. I just wanted to showcase here my huge Bakugan Brawl. I will cover them all in this video. This is roughly, I want to say, about $200 that I've spent here from my purchases in Asia. I think the shipping also cost me roughly about $100. That was just because the international shipping here to the USA, it wasn't that bad. Every little thing just added up. Let me just get all of these unwrapped for all of you. Alrighty, so the first one we got today here is Siege. So these were supposed to be part of my 100 subscriber episode. There we go, Aquas and Ventus. Aquas here with a gorgeous 550 G power, and Ventus sadly does not have a G power. I looked everywhere, I could not find it. Usually it's like under the head here, but I just cannot find it for some reason. But yeah, very gorgeous to have two more in my collection. And along with it, the seller also gave me a Siege Lamicular card, I think is what it is. This one looks Italian, I think. So they had these packs back during the BB and Nubistroya era in which you would randomly pull out these cards. So I thought that was really sweet of them to have it. You can see the difference right in between the use of the purple and the blue, but the toy comes with the yellow. Up next is Centipoid, but not just any Centipoid. This one is the B2 Centipoid. Again, using a B1 for scale. This is a B2 and it is gorgeous how big it is in person. The head, I am not used to the head being this big. It is ridiculous. And then the individual details are much more exact on the feet. I like it so much more. But yeah, it feels so good to have it. It's so big too. I don't know why Centipoid is one of my favorites for some reason. But for some reason it is. I just really like it more than Wormquake. And of course, obviously, this is Masquerade's Bakugan, so, you know, I've made purpose that, like, okay, if I was going to be B2, it was going to be the ones that I liked from the anime. Up next, we have Elico. Thank God I finally have this guy. That took way too long. Although I made a mistake. This is the Japanese one. You can see by the MG. And I really like the fact that I already have Blast, so it's good that I finally have D2. And he switches between Aqua, Subterra, and Chaos. Up next is Atmos, and it is gorgeous. I went out of my way to get the translucent one. This one should be accessible here in the States. I feel like that one might have been a little bit excessive. It must have been a really good price. I forgot the prices on some of these. Look at that translucent. You can see the springs underneath it. 710. This guy is a monster, and I absolutely love the fact that I even got the gate card to go with it. And it is very strong for Darkest. But yeah, just look at that. I love me my long boys. I am waiting so long to see if I find somebody who makes like a Darkest Venoclaw. I just really like the long ones. So, you know, you remember my first shorts where I got Atmos. Well, this is my second time getting a Darkest Atmos. Kind of funny. But it's translucent and it was really strong. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll go for it. Up next is Turbine Hades. I usually don't go out of my way for non-attribute Bakugan. You can't find him here in the States. It's just, I think he was something like $4 or something, so I was like, you know what, sure, go for it. I wasn't even sure if the seller was aware of the fact that he was a Turbine or not. Didn't seem like it to me, but most people don't even have the spool spring here. So this is part of a future video series that I'm going to be doing for Bakuzooms. So it's a little sneak preview right now. As you can tell right here, he does have his ring, but if you can't tell, it's a lot easier in the back. You can clearly see the ring added back there. And in general, the plastic feels harder. I can't really explain why. He feels slightly better, but I have no way to explain it to you how it just feels like it. And look at that, an astounding 790 Gs for new Vestroya eras, and just absolutely insane. So yeah, I got him for the G power, but also just the sheer fact of having another Bakugan for the Zoom episode when you do see that one in the future. Probably my first purchase because I was really struggling with this one. Subterra Hexados. You actually can find him here in the States in eBay, but I realized that it was a little bit more expensive, just slightly, like 30 bucks, and it was like, you know what, I'd rather just get him here while it's cheaper, even including after the fees. And I've never owned a Hexados before, so this is really interesting to me, how you have to pull out his head and the tail? Oh my god, that's really hard. Jesus, there we go. As you can tell, I've never owned a Hexados before. I didn't try to. I always had a bunch of Legionoids, but I never had a Hexados. Or a Pythanthus, really. So interesting that the attributes are only on one side, but that might be the same for Legionoid. So yeah, Ventus, Pyrus, Darkus, and Chaos off of a Subterra Bakugan. This might be like the most attributes I've ever seen, and this is a Japanese Bakugan too. Wow, that's crazy. So the only thing he can't do is Aquas, which I think that's pretty insane, actually, not gonna lie. Okay, and to close him, you really have to snap these pieces in there. Okay, so that one's sturdy, and that one's sturdy, and then it should open up. It should leave open the hook for the hooks to attach to. This one is really special. I was always looking for this guy. I think I paid about retail for him, something like $11 or something like that. Aquas Gren, that's right. This is our favorite boy, the Walrus. And he looks stunning. I love the blue on him. It just looks right. But the reason why I went out of my way was because I was already buying like 3 things from the seller. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll pick this up too. Because he had the correct one, which is the 1100. So that's going to be relevant. Hopefully you will see him in one of my future Gondalian brawls. But yeah, no, I love him. You always find him in Pyrus, but you can never find him in Aquas. Something that's interesting now that I look at him is that he also has this Alto Brontes disease. You can tell that these little rings stick out when you roll him. It reminds me a lot of what's the doggy? Orbium, I think. Orbium also has this exact same problem, so I'm just kind of confused as to why you even need this piece when it looks like you can roll without it. It's not like a metal, like heavy metal piece like the Mechtogan Bakugan. But yes, super happy I finally have a Gren in my collection. You can't even find these guys in general. Aksela. So if you remember our previous episodes, either the 1200G, you will remember Aksela. But I have a really bad magnet on mine, so I was like, you know what, sure, this cost me like $4 or something. Just get a correct one with like a slightly better magnet. I can't say it's much stronger, but it's strong enough. But I love my Akselas. Absolutely gorgeous. They really should have been a double strike, not a Baku stand. In general, most of the Gondalian designs, they just really interest me. Even the NPC ones. There's no other generation like that for me. I'm holding on to these for my friend. He ordered these and I happened to find them there while I was shopping around online. So he just tacked them onto my shipping order. That is a Pearl Ventus Brontes. And that is a Pearl Chaos Alto Brontes, unless it's the Frost version. I'm really bad at this stuff. Absolutely gorgeous. You can really see the shimmer of the Pearl or the Frost on him. And can I just mention, freaking 750 in this era is really good. Like, that's just insane. I'm pretty sure both of these are like European exclusives. But yeah, he's 750 and he's 660, which for a regular Brontes is not bad. It's pretty good. But it's amazing how clean these guys are. Like, do you see these ID numbers are clean? Darkest Radizen. I usually do not pick up the Mechtogan Bakugan just because over there they're kind of like the same price as they are here, so there's not really much of a difference. But finding a regular Darkest Radizen that is not camo is so difficult. And I like the G power, so I was like, okay, you know what, sure. It was like, what, like 25, I think? And if I just open him up, I love how you can move their beak. It is just such a tiny detail, but I absolutely love it. He does kind of have a little bit of a weak magnet. He works nonetheless, but I did find out his magnet was a little bit weak in my opinion. But yeah, look at that 980 G power. It is just absolutely gorgeous. His ID is there, but it has been rubbed off over time, sadly. You know, Darkest Black is not really like the best one to print on. But yeah, absolutely love it. Just regular Darkest. You usually see the other attributes, but I feel like Darkest and Ventus are like the rarest ones. Ta-da! One of my mobile assaults, Rapilator. I do not have a titanium, so I guess I will just use a Lumino for now. I will get a titanium down the line. The problem is just finding one with the correct G power, honestly. Also, it's like really expensive. They all are. But yeah, finding the Pyrus is so rare. I wish they made the Chaos one. I really wish. I would put that on Aeronaut and it would look so good on him. Okay, I did hear that this was going to happen. I do not think there's a solution to that. But I did buy it knowing ahead of time that this is what happened to it. Oh my god, it is gorgeous. It is huge too. Like, look at this. This is practically the size of 2 gate cards. Like, when he opens up, he is massive. He takes up almost the entire gate card. That happens with a lot of mobile assaults. Oh my god, he's got wings. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, absolute 100% swoosh ability. But yeah, like, look at how massive these things are. Oh my god, this thing is 280? That's huge. But I love the curved sword designs that come along with it. Oh my gosh, you cannot find these in general. Like, at least you can find Jackaleers. Rapilators are just rare. Oh, that's so cool. This enters into this socket here. Oh, wow. Next up is another really rare mobile assault, and this is Demolitor. And not only do I have one Demolitor, but I have 2 Demolitors. I really should be investing in mobile suits, to be honest, but I just ended up really liking the assaults. I think the mobile assaults are just really cool looking, and you can wield them into battle. But yeah, these are very difficult to find. They're usually like, what is it, Poland and Philippines exclusive, so it's very difficult to find these in general. Very limited wave, and the fact that I found 2 is really awesome to me. I guess I would just use Lumino here. Oh my god, his seat comes up? Oh, that is cool. So I guess there's 2 magnets, one for the seat and then one for the vehicle. Oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, wow. This thing is huge. What the heck? I honestly really got it for the effects. I think he's got like a crazy effect. I think he does like a plus 100 Gs whenever your opponent activates an ability card or something. So that was just kind of massive, but so is this guy. No G power on him. That is weird. I am pretty sure they're 260 though. So I think they're 260 Gs, but I am... Oh, that is weird. There's no G power on this guy. Okay, interesting. And then the second Demolitor. Oh, nice. Okay, very obvious 240 right there. Okay, so yeah, that one's just missing a G power. I might just have to print that one on there later. Wow, this thing is huge. I know a lot of Bakugan fans who like their crabs, so... Pinch, 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 pinch. And what's even crazier, you guys just heard me talking about how Rapilator was huge. This thing is like 1.5 times longer than him. Like, look at this fully blown. I mean, obviously, it's just the little pincher things, but it's just like, just imagine rolling and then your Bakugan, right, is standing right there. And then, boom, you're just completely encapsulated by this mobile assault. Like, what do you say to that? Insane scaling. I don't like buying whole card collections, so buying singles is nice. This is just a standard reroll card. I generally don't like reroll cards, but it's just like a good rainbow card to have. Defend from above. If you have a boost Ingram and it stands and starts a battle, if there's another gate card, you gain the attribute, and we usually do run multiple gate cards on the field, so this should be pretty easy to suffice. And it's on one of my gate cards, so I kind of already have an idea of like what should be underneath it. So I thought that was a really cool bonus to see a bonus on a red. Guard Hammer. If you roll a Chaos, you can replace that gate card with one from your unused pile, so I think that's a really good way to snipe out the coppers. Freedom's Wind. If you have a Bronze Ventus, you gain the attribute 1 extra time, and then it gets an extra time for each gate card in your used pile. Just in general, these bronze attack cards are really rare. Infinity Dragonoid. If your opponent has a Bakugan trap and you have a heavy metal, you gain 150 Gs and you remove them from the game. That's huge, being able to remove their only trap. So I got 2 of these. Power of Earth. Play at the start of the game. If you only have Subterra, raise your power by 1. This is a pretty huge card for, if you remember, Chompix. I think Chompix is a scale power level 1 or 2. So this would allow you easier use of some gear, as well as some ability cards faster than your opponent. Double Wump. I really love Double Strike Bakugan, so having this plus 170 here on 3 attributes is really nice. It's a lot easier to do this than doing, like, for example, your opponent has a copper gear or something like that. This just feels a lot easier. Predictable Damp, just reroll, respin on Darkest or Aqua's Baku Tactics. It was just a card I didn't have. I didn't really think this one was that strong, but it's just good to have in case I ever do feel like running Tactics in the future. Accelerak. I have the Accelerak card along with the Accelerak Mechtogan, so I'm going to show that in a little bit. Baku Blasters. I got a bunch of reference cards. These are all reference cards for Sky Raiders and Baku Blasters. So this here is Mega Blast. So I don't know if anybody has really studied on Baku Blasters. We're going to try to introduce them maybe in our Mechanium Brawls. We should have an upcoming Mechanium Brawl that might include it. But this is kind of insane. If your blaster shoots, it gains that G power. You also have a bonus like 80 to 100 G power. And then if it hits in a standing opponent, you gain plus 120. So we're just like, isn't this effect kind of insane on a reference card? Which means that you get to use this over and over again. Please comment below if you know how to use Baku Blasters, because I have been struggling to figure that out. And then these are just Sky Raider cards that I really wanted. I love my Sky Raiders, so it's just having a bunch of these for all the attributes. Here's the Atmos card, which I mentioned for my lovely bird Atmos. Players with an Atmos Bakugan in their used or unused can swap that in with the one in this battle. And doing 200 or 250 is huge right here. So I really like that, because although it's not like a double G power bonus, I always struggle to find a use for my third Bakugan, because you kind of have like a really strong Bakugan, a really medium Bakugan, and then a really weak Bakugan. So when you roll the weak Bakugan onto here, you can swap him in for the Atmos, and so you get to use Atmos twice. These were freebies. I didn't pay for them. Tricolored Boot and Tricolored Boost, just having good rainbow cards. Tuskor, I don't know why I didn't have a Tuskor card yet. I have like all the other 8 cards, but Tuskor. Pit of Despair. If there's at least one Darkest, any evolved, go back to their unevolved form. I think this is huge. Great way late game. We're always running these huge battles where they have 1,200 Gs. So considering this for our Darkest team is actually kind of nice. CU Steam. This is just your standard copper gates to prevent Mechtogan. Nothing really much to say here. I do like though that the 180 bonus for Aquas is really strong in comparison to the others. Steam Tower. This card sucks. Good bonus for 4 attributes, but it's got my favorite girl in there, Fabia, so I'm just trying to collect all the cards with Fabia on them, so that means a lot to me. And it's got an even really big screen, so you can really see her. Silver Sun. I like this concept. I only see a couple of cards that do this where your nano are plus 100, so I really like that. Really wanted to pick this up. And then double duty, instead of 1 attribute, dual attribute mutants get both. So that's pretty big, especially goes Subterra Ventus. Alrighty, that is box 1. Let me get into box 2. Sorry to shift you around. That's because we're going to talk about my favorite segment, the Mechtogan. So yep, right here's a real Silent Strike, not those freaking McDonald fakes. He is so agile. He's got so many points of articulation. It's kind of crazy. 1, 2, 3. 3 in each leg, and then what looks like 2 in each arm with the moving blades, the moving shoulder blades. With the nano spots. And it's really cool. These are not supposed to be nano spots, but they sure look like nano spots to me. But yeah, just the fact that these blades can move is like an added detail I'm not used to. Sadly, none of these came with the activator cards, but at least the Accelerak, I was able to find the ability card. So yeah, let's open him up. He's actually pretty heavy. Again, I'm so used to the McDonald's ones, this concept doesn't exist for me of how heavy he is in the body. Oh my god, he opens his mouth just like in the show. Oh, that's sick. Okay. Very easy 2-point. There's all the weapons, the 170G. But wow. These like real rubber parts too. These aren't like you know, these aren't like that hard of a plastic. And the detailing, the fact they're able to detail all the little marks, like if you look at this, some Mechtogan, they don't even have these marks colored in. So the fact that he does, I think is really cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, interesting. Okay. But wow, it's so good to actually have a real... Oh, wow, he has such good articulation. My gosh. I can't wait to put him next to my Phaser Titan, just so that you guys can see the comparison. Accelerak, the one I've been alluding to this whole time. Again, I have his card, but I do not have the activator. just say, what can you do bit by bit? I've been playing around with him. He's very unstable. He's like very, very top heavy, which makes sense when you look at these twig legs. Like, do you see this? So yeah, it's he falls back a lot. He reminds me of Woody from Toy Story. That's what he reminds me of. But I love his articulation. It reminds me of Slynex. Man. But he's so smooth, like Sky Sprint. That's what he reminds me of, Sky Sprint, with his open chest pieces. Anyhow, let's get down to it. Wow. Wait, his arms open up? Oh, what the heck? Oh my god, his arms open up. Oh, that is sick. What the heck? As you can see here, the Subterra 160, pretty bad for a support piece, if I'm going to say so myself. And then you open these up. But just for such a skinny Mechtogan, he's got so many pieces. Again, the 3 articulation here, the 2 articulation here, and I guess his arms open up, so he's got a double joint there as well. And then when he opens up, I guess he's got 2, 4, 6 pieces that open off of 1 magnet. That's insane. But he reminds me a lot of Sky Sprint, where he also has this this middle piece. But I love just how he opens up. What the heck? Accelerak is so rare, so I just had to buy him when I saw him. And it was good, because I have never seen a another Accelerak in all of the auctions that I've seen online in the Asia group. I've never seen it. Wow. Okay, so to close him, you go that, this, this. Awesome. I will point out though, his ability card is kind of cool. If you have a battle in Accelerak with a Slicerix attached, remove 1 Mechtogan or battle gear from a use pile from the game, which would be absolutely stellar. If I had an Slicerax, that thing is freaking rare, so that's the only thing I hate about this. I've got the other nanos, but I don't have Slicerax or Dafterix, and so it's just like, why did he have to be Slicerix? But this is a freaking cool ability. There's only like 3 of these Mechtogan abilities that are move game pieces from the game, I think. So they're just generally rare. So it's just generally a good effect to have. It's just, again, who can afford a Slicerix? I've only ever seen it once before. And then, in my opinion, the star of the show, Dreadeon. Dude, his punchline will forever be stuck in my head. You know, the one that goes, fury and violence and pain are what I crave. My favorite line. It's just so iconic. I didn't realize how low his head would be, but you can tilt his head, which I think is really cool that you can do that. Yes, this is not a McDonald's one. This is a real one. He feels like he's in a lot of pain. And then this awkward triangle shape kind of just enunciates the pain more. And then all these crooked, straight, pointy bits also enunciate that as well, right? Even how his arms, it's all spikes, right? Oh my god, you can move his arms. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, especially for holding Bakugan Nano, you need that. That's really cool. The others don't do that. Okay, enough chit chat. Oh, look at that. I love it. These are not McDonald's plastic. This is plastic, but this is, oh my gosh. It's so cool. His head comes up. There's the clear 180. I like that the darkness is hidden behind the wing. Oh. Okay, so yeah, when his head comes up like this, then you can put the head down. Oh, that is so trippy. And his arms have complete articulation with this ballpoint swivel. He can do complete, like, any hand pose you want. You know, this reminds me a lot of Bionicles from back in the day. 2 holes here, and then 1 right on his neck. so that's kind of like an interesting point. And then you got 2 more on the back head here, the wings. Yeah, he really feels like a Bionicle. That's really the best way to describe him, right? His shoulder goes up, his head comes up, he's got a mask that goes up and down with no visible like jaw or anything like the others. Oh, that's so sick.
Chaos, pain, and destruction are what I crave!
Here's the last one of the Mechtogan. I got a Smasheon. Oh my gosh. He looks as bulky, as bulging as I imagined him to be. At least when he's darkest, he looks better, but you can never find him darkest. You always find him aquas. This is like his most common attribute. I don't even know if these hands can even hold Bakugan. They feel really small in comparison to the other hands. But yeah, he's well known right here for his buzzsaw, just like Lumagrowl, right? Various gear. And I think these open up as well, so I'm just gonna do that. Wow. Okay, those buzzsaws are gigantic. What the heck? Oh, did these come out? I think they come out. Oh my gosh. Okay, wow, those things are difficult. Okay. Yeah, he's not exciting as the other ones. You know, Accelerak, his arms came down, and with a silent strike, his whole body opens up. I like the ones where they have 2 hands. Right, this one, and Rock Fist is another one. But I feel like he doesn't do it very well. These buzz things kind of just come out on the side of his body. Yeah, not my favorite design, but he still remains to this day an incredibly difficult one to find. Limited articulation there. But I just love that classic "Come forth this Mechtogan Smasheon." It's my favorite line of Mech 1. It's just so iconic, but yeah, his head is in his body instead of the head zone. Anyhow, just happy to finally have him. I do want to give a shout out, by the way, to Patchara. She was my contact during this time and the one who got me access to all of this Asia shipping. So I just want to say thank you for that. Without her, this pretty much wouldn't have been possible. Okay, on to the 3rd box.
Launch Mechtogan Smasheon!
Okay, as for the 3rd box, a little bit less interesting. These are water sticker sheets, so I'm gonna try to get these as close as I can, but I should be able to put this as my part of my Baku repairs. So this has been like a problem I've had, in which, like, you know, G powers are peeling and the attributes are peeling, and there's no real way to fix that. Well, I bought this sheet so I could be able to cut them out, and I would be able to put them onto the Bakugan. See here, take for example here, this is one of the cut up ones the seller gave me for free. So I will be able to cut out these like sticker-ish things, and I will be able to apply them onto the Bakugan. I have to learn how, I think these are called water stickers, are used. But that's my hope, that I'll be able to do some repairs by myself that include, right, not just physical repairs, but also aesthetic repairs as well. So I bought this sheet so I could be able to do that, especially the G powers, right? Like, if you took a look, right, I was missing the 260 G power on my Demolitor. Well, I have 250 here. Oh, wow. 230, 240, 250, 250, 270, 280, 290. Wow. I just missed 260. What about here? Wow, I just missed 260. That should have been a 260 right there. Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, it'd be like that. And then I love the fact that it came with both white and black logos. For example, the Mechtogan used the black logos, I think, most of the time. And then the regular Bakugan will use the white logos. But also just the fact that I got copper, silver for battle gear is really cool too. So I will even be able to do sticker repairs on them as well. This is a sealed Aquos Venexus. This was for some reason cheaper for me to get sealed than it was to find an open copy. I think this cost me like $35 or something. You can tell it's European by the abilities included are French, Spanish, German, Italian, Portuguese. But I just find it hilarious that I have been looking for regular Aquos Venexus forever, and I found it in Asia, and I was like, okay, might as well get a sealed copy. Something that's really cool is that you can see the obvious blue on this one, right? Well, if you take a look at the back design, and this is, I guess, nothing special, Aquos Venexus was supposed to have a lot of black. And it kind of surprises me how that turns out. And you can tell the silver parts too, right? He was supposed to have silver arms and feet, which does not match the anime at all. But then you also see here that they're just very, very dark blue. Anyhow, very happy to have regular Venexus. I'm not sure if I'm going to open him up. On the same vein, I also got this sealed. Pyrus Plitheon is really, really rare. And it just so happened that the seller had two of these sealed, so I'm like, okay, I might as well buy this sealed. I kind of have a mind of my own to open him up. I do have an Aquos Plitheon, so the only one I'm missing, Subterra, is going to be really easy to find. That's just super easy. So I have a mind of my own to open him up just so that way I can get the complete set of Plitheons. You'll see the box is kind of damaged already anyway, so it's not like it's in mint condition. So yeah, that's the purchase. That's the haul. My all-time favorite out of that had to be the Mechtogan. I'm so happy I finally got so many of them in the collection. I think I'm only just missing 2 now. And I'm just waiting for a decently priced Radizen Titan. So that's why I've been holding off on my video for my Mechtogan collection. But I guess I should just make it. I was especially waiting for Accelerak. I think that was probably one of the ones that was like taking me the longest to find. So I'm super happy I was able to. Anyhow, just want to say thank you if you stopped by and stayed the whole video. And I'll see you next time.